So we have just received this brand new video from the front lines of the fight in Israel's Gaza offensive as IDF troops blow up an entrance to one of the uncovered Hamas terror tunnels very close to Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City. Watch this. So all of this video that you're seeing, and you're going to see more of it in a moment, is coming into us from Fox News contributor Douglas Murray, who was on the front lines with the IDF today during their targeted operation at the Al-Shifa Hospital, where weapons and other technology, you can see these videos, because remember, this is part of the, that they have to have evidence that the headquarters for Hamas and their weaponry is underneath and in some cases, this hospital. So this is the video that you're seeing that they are showing to prove that indeed that is the relationship between Hamas and the Al-Shifa Hospital. Douglas Murray joins me now from Israel. He is also a National Review Institute fellow. Douglas, good to have you with us today. How did your trip into Gaza come together today?
Well, as often with these things, a pretty short notice from the military authorities. They gave a few journalists about an hour. We'd been waiting for some days to see if we could go into Gaza with the IDF. Obviously, the Gaza is where most of the military operation in Israel is happening at the moment. There are some skirmishes in the north. There have been rockets fired in the south. Tel Aviv, where I am tonight, most days has alarms and the sirens go, and we all have to go to shelters. But it's Gaza where the real fighting is going on. So yes, I entered through the gate that the 7th of October terrorists actually broke through that day to carry out their massacre of 1,400 Israelis. Today we went through the other way, through the same entrance, with the IDF vehicles. We stopped at a nearby village where there'd been some massive fighting and a lot of destruction, clearly, which is exactly where the footage you're showing at the moment was shot. We were shown the IDF had just discovered a new tunnel that connects to this extraordinary, massive underground terror tunnel network that the Hamas have built. And there are so many casualties that come from opening these up. Just a few days ago, several young IDF soldiers were killed by opening up one of these tunnels, and it was booby-trapped and everyone was killed. So today they were taking no chances. As you can see on the screen at the moment, experts from the IDF put dynamite down the shaft, and we all got round a corner, and they detonated it, and you could feel the ground underneath you shaking as they did so. This is just part of the tunnel network, which of course for the Israelis is of particular importance because, first of all, Hamas fighters are hiding in them and can break out at any moment. But secondly, and this is a much more troubling issue, really, the Israelis do believe that this massive tunnel network under Gaza is likely to be where the remaining surviving 240 kidnapped Israelis may well be being kept at the moment.
Yeah, so two questions come to mind, Douglas. One is, did they talk to you at all about the concern about hostages as they're doing this work? And the other issue is confirmation of the Hamas operation underneath the hospital. The White House came out today, John Kirby basically saying that they are comfortable with their intel assessment about the degree to which Hamas is and was using Al-Shifa as a command and control mode. So what did you learn about those two issues?
Well, first of all, I mean, a group like Amnesty International, which is by no means a pro-Israel group, by no means, in 2014 said that the Al-Shifa hospital was being used by Hamas as a torture chamber, as a place to store weaponry, as a place where executions were taking place of Palestinians who weren't completely in line with Hamas or in some ways suspect in the eyes of Hamas. So this has been known for a very long time. There's something very perverse about certain parts of the media and some governments in recent days denying something that really pretty anti-Israel NGOs like Amnesty were admitting years ago. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, of course, the Israelis are very concerned about the hostages. It's one of their absolutely prime issues. I was at one of the humanitarian crossings in Gaza earlier today, right in the center of Gaza, where you see the population moving every day from north to south on the advice of the Israeli military, requesting that Gazans get out of the main military action, which is going on all around you as you're in the Gaza in the north. And among other things, you can see the photos there, it was very moving. I mean, of course, all these Palestinians are leaving their homes. They're leaving their homes because the IDF wants to make sure that the firefight is between them and Hamas. But among other things, very quickly, there was a request in Hebrew whilst I was there across the loudspeakers from the IDF saying, any child who understands Hebrew, jump up now, because they believe that the hostages, including the children, may well be being taken south.
Incredible, incredible images, Douglas. Thank you very much for joining us. Douglas Murray, as the war continues on in full force in Gaza after the killing on October 7th by Hamas. The forces' efforts are to eradicate Hamas in Gaza after the killing of 1,200 Jewish people in Israel. Thank you very much, Douglas. Good to have you with us today.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.